When you hear the name Kali, what's the first image that pops into your head? For a lot of people, it's this fearsome, kind of scary goddess of destruction. But what if I told you that's barely scratching the surface? Today, we're going to peel back those layers and uncover a really profound philosophical idea that's been hiding in plain sight, right inside these ancient, powerful aphorisms. So, our journey starts right here with this one line from a text called the Mahavidya Sutram. Now, this isn't just some fancy opening line. It's a promise. It's basically telling us, hey, whatever you think you know about Kali, that's just the beginning. We're about to go way, way deeper. All right, so where does Kali even fit into all of this? Well, you see, she's part of this incredible group of 10 powerful goddesses known as the Dasha Mahavidyas, or the 10 Great Wisdoms. And these figures are absolutely central to this whole philosophical system. But here's the kicker. The text calls her Adya. And that one word changes everything. It means she isn't just one of the 10. Nope. She is the first, the actual source from which all the other 9 spring into existence. Right away, you know she's the foundational primary force here. Okay, so if she's the source, that's a pretty big deal, but what kind of power are we actually talking about? What's her fundamental nature? What's her whole deal? Well, the texts don't mess around, they get right to the point on this. They define her as Kriya Shakti. Now, this isn't just, doing stuff. This is the raw cosmic power of pure, undiluted will turning into action. And here's a super important point. She isn't a personality who causes action. She is the principle of action itself. And think about it, right? If she is the very essence of action, well, then where isn't she? It just makes sense that she has to be everywhere, all at once. She's this fundamental, dynamic force that's part of the very fabric of existence. I absolutely love the imagery the source material uses to get this across. It describes her not as a person, but as a phenomenon, an unstoppable surge of power, like the boom of crashing thunder or a flash of electrifying lightning. It's that raw, wild, can't-be-contained elemental energy. But, okay, this unstoppable power, it has another side. And this is where her role gets a lot more complex and maybe even a little unsettling when you first hear it. Yeah, you heard that right. The text says very directly she swallows all beings. I mean, that sounds like pure destruction, doesn't it? So how on earth does that square with being a power that keeps existence going? It feels like a total paradox. And that right there is the key question we've got to unpack. How can an act of swallowing things actually be a force for balance in the universe? Well, the answer is all about rethinking what that word, swallowing, really means. So here's the crucial point. The text doesn't call this process destruction. It has a special name for it, parinama, and it's a cosmic cycle. Her swallowing of beings isn't about wiping them out for good. It's the engine of constant change. It's the force that makes sure nothing ever gets stuck, and that balance is kept through constant transformation. And this brings us to the core revelation of this whole deep dive. We've seen her place, we've seen her function, but now we're about to uncover her true identity. The text makes this absolutely brilliant connection. It says her action, this whole process of consuming or swallowing, which is called pachagatham, is the very definition of something else, kala. And kala means time. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. What does time do? It swallows everything, constantly pushing change forward. And then, as if to make it absolutely undeniable, the text gives us the final, crucial piece of the puzzle. The entire concept is locked right inside the single, crystal-clear line of Sanskrit. And there it is. Kala in the feminine form is called Kali. Her name, Kali, is literally just the feminine version of the Sanskrit word for time, Kala. The secret was hiding in her name all along. How cool is that? So let's be perfectly clear on this. Kali isn't a goddess of time or some deity who controls time. According to this philosophy, she is time, the unstoppable, all-consuming, ever-changing force of the universe, simply personified in a feminine form. Now that we've got our heads wrapped around her true identity, let's just zoom out for a second and appreciate the sheer scale of what we're talking about here. Because this cosmic cycle isn't just about beings or even planets. The texts say it applies to entire universes.
As time itself, she has presided over the birth and death of countless existences before our own. The scale of it is truly mind-boggling. So, let's just do a quick recap. We saw that Kali is Aja, the absolute source. Her power is Kriya Shakti, pure raw action. Her so-called swallowing is actually Parinama, the engine of all change. And all of this led us to the big reveal. Her true identity is Kala. She is time itself in feminine form. And that kind of leaves us with one big thought to chew on. If destruction is really an illusion, and what we call endyms are just the necessary, unstoppable, and even creative process of time and action, then how does that change the way we look at change, loss, and renewal in our own lives?